I haven't done one of these in a while, so I have no idea how long this is going to take. Hopefully not forever, just long enough, like Goldilocks. Hey everybody, yesterday I asked on my Instagram at Llama Letters in my stories for questions, anything goes, because I felt like doing a Q&A because the world is burning down right now and I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing, and a Q&A is fairly easy to figure out, at least. So I've got a bunch of questions. I'm not going to be saying who gave them to me because I've got a lot and I want to get through them all. My goal is to actually answer every single question, but there's a lot of them, so we'll see how that goes. I'm just going to scroll down to the bottom, get started. I got lots. Let's get going. How do you feel about starting dialysis? Scared and stressed out right now because I'm still in the process of getting my fistula worked on, and I have no idea how this whole situation is going to impact the surgery schedule because it's a necessary surgery for me, but because I'm not on dialysis yet, I don't know if it's considered a necessary surgery, and I would hate to occupy resources that could be used better in different places, but at the same time, I need to be ready for dialysis. So scared, uncertain, all the things. What do your kids think about your planner, fame, and YouTube and the book? I love mine. I hope you mean you love your kids, or maybe you love your book. Either way. They're like, they think it's cool, but they also are like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it was cool the first time they saw the book. Now they're just like, psh, teenagers, right? Are you still playing WoW? Not at the moment. My husband has been, but I just haven't had the time. And when I've been wanting to wind down, I've been doing a lot of reading. I have been considering going back into playing for a little bit because it'll be something I can do with my husband. But as of right now, I haven't been. I do have a subscription though. I haven't canceled it because I keep thinking I'm going to jump back in there. What's your favorite animal? Like if you could shrink any animal and carry it around with you. I like that question. My favorite animal has always been the great white shark. I don't think I'd want to shrink that down and carry it around with me. I would probably want to shrink Loki down and carry him around with me because he's so snuggly. I'd like to just have him in my pocket, although he'd probably hate that. So who knows, man. Let me start with thank you. You're welcome. Other than Chrissy Ann, Once More with Love, and Coffee Monsters Co., what are your favorite stickers? Some of my favorites are K Glam Co. She just rebranded to a little sparkle, and Cricket Paper Co. I like both of their lines of stickers because they tend to use really vibrant colors, and while I gravitate towards pastels, when I want something super vibrant, I tend to go to them first because their quality is great and I love their colors and the artwork that they use. So yeah. Is the stream you set up for your minister available to the public? Where can we stream it? It is, and we're still working on it. Even after this week, we have other adjustments we have to make, but you can search Napa Valley Unitarian Universalists on YouTube, or I'll leave a link to the channel down below. Will you be teaching out of your new book? Yes, I hope to be. And that's something that's going to be kind of figured out over the next couple of months. As this situation we're in as a world continues, I'm looking to figure out ways to offer more fun that we can all kind of join in together on this channel, and that is definitely something that I'm thinking about, like live streams or something. I'm not sure yet, but stay tuned. Was writing a book easier than you thought, or was it harder than you believed? If so, what was hard about it? I should preface this by saying that my book was not like writing like a fiction book or like a self-help book or a nonfiction, whatever, because I wasn't writing a ton of words. I was doing a lot of artwork and drawing the things I was trying to draw, and then adding blurbs and pieces to go with that. If it was a writing book, I probably would have struggled more with it, but because it wasn't quite as difficult as I thought it was going to be. The biggest difficulty was not procrastinating because the workload was so high. And by the way, if you're hearing my husband in the background, it's because he's a conference call. Welcome to life in March of 2020 in the Guentert-Baldo household. Does your occasional colorful language prohibit you from monetizing YouTube? No. It does sometimes get my videos individually demonetized, but not overall, probably because even though I do drop the F-bomb fairly often, I'm not using it in a harmful way or to bully people or whatever, so for the most part, I'm still within their guidelines. Unless I'm like super extra flavorful, then they might demonetize me. Do I have a bucket list, and if so, what's on it? No, but I do really want one day to go to Europe and visit all the great prisons, like the site of the Bastille and the Tower of London and all that. Like, I would love to do that because I'm morbid. But I don't really have a bucket list. I'm not really great at thinking super far ahead. I always worry that like I'm gonna die soon because I'm fucking morbid and fatalistic. So no, stay alive. Who is your favorite sticker shop outside of Chrissy Ann Designs? I kind of talked about this a little bit, but I would say it's probably no surprise. It's Once More with Love, and that's because if you're looking at sheer amount of stickers that I use, Once More with Love and Chrissy-Ann designs are like way at the top of the list. What are the chances your kids will have PKD? How did PKD impact your decision to have kids? They each have a 50% chance of getting it because it comes down through the parents, and my ex-husband does not have PKD and I do, so they each have a 50% chance. I didn't really think about it. Like, honestly, I just had kids. I've actually seen in PKD groups people really struggling with the idea of having kids, knowing that they could pass this down to them. But when I was 23 and I had both of my kids were kind of like happy accidents, and I was glad to have them. So you would think I would have been more thoughtful about it, especially since I had Kat a year and a half after my dad died, but I wasn't. And I wouldn't take it back, even though we're at the process now of potentially getting them tested. So it's a lot to take in. It's a heavy question, but my answer seems kind of flip, but that was my headspace at the time. I wasn't a very somber 23-year-old, let's just say. You're at a Mexican restaurant, beans or rice? Dude, beans and rice. Although if I had to choose, it would probably be beans if I had chips to eat them with, because sometimes Spanish rice has little bits of onion and I'm not down with that. Gross. Recommend some Skillshare classes. Well, mine, of course. I love Peggy Dean's classes on Skillshare. She does a bunch of them, and some of them, they're really, really great. There's another one that I have gotten a lot of use out of, and I'll link it down below. I don't remember the teacher's name, but it's about creating repeating patterns in Procreate, and I found it to be immensely useful. So I'll link that one below. But yeah, Peggy Dean, of all the teachers on Skillshare, she's probably the one I go back to continuously the most. Any tips for not going 100% crazy, being in the house of the 10 and 6-year-old for the unforeseeable future? I don't have any tips, and I would invite all of you to share tips that you have, because I am already feeling the pain of having my 16-year-old and 14-year-old and husband in the house with me all day, like getting all over my daily routines. I don't know, man. I have no idea. Sorry. Have you ever traveled internationally? No. The closest I've come was once I flew to Alaska and I flew over Canada. Would you be willing to teach art classes for free during the COVID-19 quarantine? Yeah, I'm actually really hoping to do some stuff like that. What are your favorite gel pens? Jelly rolls? In terms of gel pens with color and so on and so forth, Jelly rolls are gorgeous. I prefer Uniball Signo broad-tipped gel pens in white and black and metallic for basic use, but the Jelly rolls are the prettiest. They all piss me off, though, when it comes to writing on like dark paper because of how long they take to dry. And for regular just writing pens, I'm totally down with Pilot G2 or just those super extra fine nib gel pens you can get from various Japanese stationery places. Favorite quote from Empire Records? I love that movie so much. I think probably my favorite quote is from when AJ glued all the quarters on the ground and Warren was trying to pick the quarters off the ground. He was like, hey man, who glued these quarters to the ground? I don't have to explain my art to you, Warren. That. Probably also because I had like the major hots for AJ when that movie came out. Favorite 80s band, TV show, and song? 80s band. I'm going to count Journey. They're more than an 80s band, but they are an 80s band. Journey or Bon Jovi. Both of those two. From the stuff of theirs that came out in the 80s, fucking hell yeah. My favorite 80s TV show, probably Star Trek The Next Generation. It aired its first half in the 80s. Does that count? And then for an 80s song, I love Melt With You. It's one of my favorite songs in general, but especially from the 80s. But in all seriousness, how you doing? Joey style. I'm okay. I'm, like I said, already starting to feel the constraints of having my whole family in the same house, but I don't know. I think more on edge about the news than I am about my personal situation right now. My allergies are still kicking my ass, but you know, there comes a point when you realize you've done everything you can be doing right now and you just have to sort of ride with it. And I'm actually kind of in that zen place, which is weird for me. Normally I am a neurotic stress case, so I'm not really sure what the hell, man. Have I ever used a menstrual cup? I just started and it's nice to not have to stock up on tampons. I have, and I've struggled with it. I have a really tilted uterus and I've had problems with tampons and I've had problems with menstrual cups. It's all very uncomfortable for me. Now that I have an IUD, my period's next to nothing anyway, so I can get by with a couple of panty liners, which is way too much information. But If I ever get heavy again, I probably will try it again because I think I like the idea of the menstrual cup. I just haven't been able to wear it in a way that doesn't feel like I'm being invaded in the downtown. Favorite winery, favorite wine. My favorite winery is Saint Superi. They are a Napa Valley winery. I have had the best tasting room experiences there. I have really enjoyed their Sauvignon Blanc, which is amazing. I've had a friend whose mother-in-law has worked there in the tasting area, and I just really liked it. As for my favorite wine, dude, you cannot go wrong with Barefoot White Zinfandel. I'm just saying. I am so not a snobby wine person, and White Zinfandel, either drinking it on the rocks or mixing it into peach sangria. My favorite wine of all time is probably Fetzer Gewürztraminer, which was the first wine I ever liked, and I still love it. Somebody else wants a life update. Teeth, medical, just hoping you're okay. Teeth are doing okay. I have the crown on, hasn't had any problems, and if it does, I don't know what I'll do because the dentist office is closed for the next several weeks. Health-wise, I'm in a holding pattern. I'm just waiting to be able to get my fistula surgery, and my kidneys aren't doing great, and I'm super itchy, but I mean, all the joy of late-stage kidney disease, so... In general, things are kind of in a holding pattern, if I could tell you anything. Any words of wisdom during this scary time? I'm thinking of you and your family. Kind of to go back to what I just said. You know, if you're out partying at the bars and shit, then I'm going to side-eye the fuck out of you. But if you are staying home as much as you can, if you have to go to work, you have to go to work. But like if you are doing everything within your power to slow the spread, to flatten the curve, to take care of not only yourself, but the people around you, if you're working on that, doing the best you can, then that's all you can really do. And so it's the whole like stoicism thing, but like don't stress out if it's out. Like try your hardest to reduce some of the stress around things you can't control. That's easier said than done. We're probably all on maximum overload for stress right now as it is. So doing the things that you can to just take it down a notch is probably going to be the most helpful, especially because they'll accumulate over time. Any tips for surviving the toddler years? I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, and some days it's rough. I feel that. My kids are also about that split, and it was a roller coaster. It gets better. I know that's a cheesy thing to say, but once they get a little bit older, a little bit more self-sufficient, the amount of hands-on intensity goes down a little bit until you hit like adolescent preteen years when suddenly you have all sorts of complicated problems to deal with. So yeah, just do your best and take breaks if you can, or like just be like, mom needs a nap, go play. Like don't worry about feeding them Cheez-Its or letting them play on their screens when you're stressed out. Just get through it. We all have to do what we can do, right? How do you know where to put shadows when lettering? I'm so bad at this. Okay, so imagine that there's a sun or some sort of light source and that it's shining down on your letters. This is your lettering and that's the light source. Imagine where the shadow would be cast. When the sun hits you from the front, it throws a cast behind you. Imagine that there's light being thrown on your lettering, and then the opposite sides of where the light is hitting the lettering is where you add the drop shadows. Will you be doing a video about your book? # self-promotion. I had planned on it, and then everything else going on has kind of superseded that. Plus the week I actually published the book, I was not doing well. So yeah, probably incorporate it in some way with teaching. I'm not sure yet though exactly what that's gonna look like or when, but yeah, there'll be something. Favorite swear word or phrase? Fuckery and bullshittery are my two favorites. My husband says I can't just add like ERY onto the or RY onto the end of something and it's not going to be a real word, and I told him fuck you. Fuckery and bullshittery are words. Best Bath and Body Works candle scent. Currently I'm using a vanilla marshmallow candle and I really love it, but my favorite of all time is now a toss-up between Leaves in the fall and Crushed Candy Cane in the winter. Which hot mess plan with me was your favorite to do? In recent years, I think the left-handed one was just so... I gotta redo that one. That was so funny. Am I a cat lady yet? No. How are you mentally handling the quarantine? I've kind of answered this already, but I'll just say it's a big dose of reminding myself of what I can do and what I can't do, and also trying to remind myself when my family steps on my toes or gets in my way from what I'm used to doing, that I love having them. I love being around them, and that, like, here's the thing. This is something I could say I'm privileged to be able to say, but if I was going to be quarantined, there's no one else I would rather do it with than my husband and my kids, even if they drive me batty. And so reminding myself of that every day takes it down a notch. Not a huge notch, but a little bit of a notch. What things do you do to help power through the pain of your chronic illness? I just do it. Like, you just kind of, like, either I can or I can't. That's not really helpful, but like sometimes I'm hurting so much I literally can't focus, and so I don't focus. Other times I'm hurting just enough, like just low enough where I can get some work done, so I'll try to do that. My best way to power through is to really take stock of the things you need to do and figure out kind of where they are. Like if you have a scale of your pain, also a scale of what you can get done when you're at each of those pain levels, and try and prioritize accordingly. I also, in the evenings, try my hardest now to get to bed as early as I can and to pamper myself before bed, doing my skincare, taking a hot shower, taking my painkiller, reading a book, trying to relax as much as possible so that I get as much rest as possible, which then helps, because even if I am super in pain, if I got enough rest, I get a little bit more done than if I was super in pain and did not get enough rest. So that's kind of how I do it. But I don't have a great master plan. A lot of my way of pushing through pain is just that. I just push through until I can't. And that's not really a good thing, but it's something you got to do sometimes, right? Adulting. Choose one. Either a permanent hangnail or an eyelash always poking in your eye. I'll pick the permanent hangnail because I don't want to touch my face, which I just did. Oh my God. And I generally do have permanent hangnails, it feels like. So things in my eye though, I fucking hate it. What does it feel like being a total fucking badass because you're awesome? Icky. Top 3 craft supplies. Overall, the Prima glue stick. I love that glue stick. My Pigeon Letters round paintbrush, number 6. And the Regina's Watercolors Ultimate Palette. Very specific. But I love all of those things. What's up with Kat? I think you hinted at a podcast talking about an update with them. They have, I think what I was referring to was Kat's understanding of gender is a little different. Instead of identifying as non-binary, Kat has refined it to identifying as agender. That might have been what I was referring to. So right now, what's up with all of us is that we're stuck in the house. I'll talk more about it later. Your thoughts on the different planner groups. The PlannerCon drama was real. Okay, I am really disconnected from the PlannerCon drama, mostly because I've been so busy with like the real life drama, so I have no idea. As for planner groups, I am in a lot of them, more than you probably think, and I lurk around and I see what people say, but I don't participate very much because I get sucked into it, and that's the only way I can interact with them is to do it on the down low, because then I'm not at my computer constantly looking at Facebook. I think planner groups are great for making friends. I think they can also suck really bad when an event or a person or something becomes the like kind of negative target of the group, whether or not that person deserves it. And there's always times where people have stepped right into it. But I think when the group becomes nothing but talking shit about something, I really can't handle it anymore, and I have to peace out, either leaving the group or putting it on mute for 30 days. Because I'm not trying to sound like a negative Nelly, but at the same time, like, don't harsh my mellow, dude, you know? Also, flip through an old planner to see how your style has changed. I will do that at some point. Can you do more Facebook Lives in your Patreon group? I'm hoping to, especially with everything going on. I love your long rambling podcast with no guests, just talk to me. Okay. What's your least favorite crafty thing to do? Anything involving stencils or rulers. Like precise measurement especially annoys the shit out of me. What's the worst poo experience you've ever had? Oh, let's just say Chipotle and being farther away from the bathroom in Target than was a good idea. This is a while ago. And suffice it to say, I haven't stopped eating Chipotle because I love Chipotle, regardless of the asses of fire situation that sometimes come from it. Cindy Bob Ross paint along live stream where we all use our paints for an instructional video. Do I get to like talk like him too, like with the happy little trees? Because I'm all down for that. Well, I do a book club on a nonfiction book. I'm hoping to, although I'm not really sure. In the spans of this particular situation, if I do book club again, it's going to look a little bit different because I feel like that's just what I would want to do, but I'm not sure yet. So if you're interested in book clubs, let me know in the comment below and give me some suggestions for books. I know I have some suggestions. Fucking touch my face again. I have some suggestions in the Llamas Love Lettering Facebook group from last book club, but yeah, let's talk about ways book club could be useful. What is the hardest thing about having a chronic illness? Any advice given, social distancing, etc.? The hardest thing about having a chronic illness is, aside from, the illness itself, is having people not take you seriously, especially if it's not something they can see. It sucks. There's also the really well-meaning people who always want to know how you're doing. And again, that can suck after a while. Like, sometimes I just want to be like, it fucking sucks, dude, and like be done with it. It feels like you have to have a lot of patience with other people when you have a chronic illness, because they're not going to get it, or they're going to be intrusive or whatever. And I'm not very patient. As for social distancing advice, I don't know if we're doing it right. We're just staying in. But like, yeah, just use common sense. And common sense means stay in. If you go for walks, keep your distance. It's nice. We went into the store to pick up some things, and everybody was kind of keeping their 6 feet bubble in each other. It was really cool to see people actually, doing it. What can rustle up your feathers that you see on social media that pertains to planners? People telling people that what they're doing is wrong. Like, you're planning wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. And then my personal pet peeve is when everybody does the same kind of kit or the same kind of setup. Like, it's just the same thing over and over again, because I like to see variety. And I know that some people who do bullet journal videos encourage their followers to like redo their spreads for their month. I get that. That's really cute. But I don't like seeing a whole bunch of it, because then it just starts to feel repetitive as fuck. And that is like a downer for my creativity. I'm going to give you an Erin Condren life planner and your favorite pen. What is one last planner accessory choice? If I could have my whole washi tape collection, I would say washi tape. Otherwise, I would go with the Chrissy Ann Designs sampler selection, like planner sampler. Not the one with all the weird, like random stickers like cats and shit, but the one that just has functional stickers in the whole like the pastel functional stickers planner sampler. Oh yeah. Can you share any secret projects you've been working on? Well, then they wouldn't be secret. I have one pseudo-secret project I'm working on currently, and no, I can't tell you about it. Yet. What inspired you to start your YouTube channel? People asked me to. They were like, I like your lettering. Can I do it like you? And I'm like, I'll try. And so I did some fuckery YouTube videos, and that's where it started. I didn't think anybody was going to watch. How would you rate your preparedness for a full lockdown? 1 is not at all. At 10, we are totally fine. I would probably say about a 4, maybe a 5. We're almost out of paper towels, but we have some toilet paper. And the biggest issue is trying to get a hold of more of a supply of the medications Jesse and I depend on to survive, especially his insulin. Until we get those in hand, I would not say we're very prepared for a full-blown lockdown. What inanimate everyday object is out to get you? People stickers in my planner. Like stickers of people. In what order do you put articles of clothing on when you get dressed in the morning? Okay, here we go. I'm going to lay this out for you. Get out of the shower. Spray my face with toner. I put on my undies and my bra. Then by then the toner will have sunk in. I'll put my eye cream on. And then I'll put on my pants. And then my shirt, like tank top or whatever. And then when I'm done doing any makeup I'm doing that day, I'll put on whatever sweatshirt after the makeup is done. That was probably more specific than you needed. Do you wash your hair then your body, or your body then your hair? Hair first, because I wash my hair, I rinse my hair, I put in my conditioner, and then I handle like washing my face, washing my body, shaving the things that need the shaving, and so on and so forth, so that the conditioner has a lot of time to set in my hair. These are really interesting questions. When you are getting ready, do you put sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock, shoe? Sock, shoe, sock, shoe. I used to be the other way, but now that it's so painful for me to bend over and get my shoes on, once my foot is in a position where I can get the sock on it, I might as well get the shoe on at the same time. But I very rarely wear socks. I usually wear flats or flip-flops, so it doesn't happen as often as you might think. Can you show us the doodles in your memory planner? If I had any, I would, but I have basically been ignoring them as I've been both sick and dealing with this other situation. I haven't had the fucks to give for doodling, not gonna lie. And the final question is recommendations for how to feel confident talking to the camera. See it as a person. It sounds cheesy, but imagine that you're talking to somebody who's sitting right in front of you, as opposed to talking to a camera. When you talk to a camera, you're gonna get all weird because you're gonna try and be performing for the camera, when instead what you should just be doing is having a conversation with a friend of yours, and it just so happens my friend looks like a camera. They're kind of a cyclops. But that's the best way to get confident. And the other way to get confident is to practice a lot. Do it as often as you can. because the more you do it, the less weird you're going to get. I will add, if you are editing videos that you have filmed, or podcasts for that matter, listening to the sound of your own voice never gets less weird. It's always going to be weird. But if you can talk to the camera like it's a person, you'll be miles ahead of a lot of other people. And those are the questions. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about the kinds of art live streams or other kinds of fun we can have on this channel while we're all in various stages of quarantine and social distance. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear it so we can figure some shit out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, my dudes. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, peace out.